Thank you guys for being here. Obviously, winning football games are hard, but proud of the effort. Found a way to win a game on homecoming. Obviously, to be able to celebrate those former players and the alumni of this great university. You guys know I never lose sight of what an honor and a privilege it is to be the head football coach here. So to our alumni that were there and that continue to believe and give back, and all of our former players that were there today, that was for you guys. Our student section, once again, absolutely phenomenal. I'd put our student section against anybody else in the country, and so it's been a lot of fun to watch their energy, their passion. You can sense them, you can feel them. It's been absolutely tremendous. So to our students, love you guys. Y'all keep bringing it every game, and cannot wait to be back home for you guys. We found a way. And conference games are hard. They're all hard, and pleased with the offensive effort. Obviously disappointed at blocked punt. You guys have heard me talk over the history of football. Generally, when you give up a blocked punt, it's hard to win a football game. And then, defensively, obviously we had our struggles, right? Whether it's explosive runs by the quarterback, giving up the deep shot pass, things that we've got to get fixed, and we will get fixed. We've got the right coaching staff, we've got the right personnel, but it's my job to make sure that I'm putting everybody in the right spots in order to have success. When it's all said and done, found a way to win a football game. We're 7-2, and I'll be the first to say we continue to get better. A lot of things to work on. Excited that we have another opportunity next week against a conference opponent that we haven't faced, and a chance to go 1-0. We'll continue to monitor our guys, as you guys will ask about injuries, and see what happens. Hopefully we can get healthy, because anytime you got to go on the road and play a conference team, it's going to be difficult.
Ron, do you have any indication on if Seth's injury is a longer-term thing or not?
I don't. Obviously something occurred during the game. Talked to the medical staff. It was nothing to do with the head area, so it was an upper body deal, but not the head. And we'll see. You guys know how that is. Obviously, guys get different exams post game, and then maybe even tonight and tomorrow. We'll have more answers come Monday's press conference.
And then Blake as well?
Same deal, right? Yeah, same deal. We'll see what happens. Obviously, both of them. Blake, when his number was called, did a tremendous job. You guys looked at the very first play of the game. They lined up in an old school 5-3 cover one bear front, and it was like, okay, well, this is what they worked on during the bye week, and here we go. And what that allowed, because they played some more man coverage, they played some more three strong than they'd shown. They blitzed the heck out of us. That's why you were able to see some of the explosive plays, right? When we were able to get off man coverage and press coverage. You saw the explosive plays by Rock Taylor. You saw the explosive plays by Jameer Blankham. See some of our guys find different ways on the goal line. They were taking away the run. We were able to get those slips to the tight end. And so I thought Seth played one of his cleanest games, obviously. We hope he's okay from health-wise. And to see what Tevin Carter was able to go in there and do, I know you guys are about to ask, what a phenomenal young man. We challenge every single one of our players. First string, eighth string, water boy, have an idea what's going on and be dialed in. And Tevin has always prepared himself like a true professional. He's one of the smartest young men that works really hard at it and loves this city, loves this team. And when his number was called, he went out there and performed. It was the right read by him. Instead of handing the ball off, I was sitting there saying, hand the ball, talking to myself. There you go, nice play, great job by Rock. And so pleased for Tevin. He certainly deserves the credit, and he's just got such a contagious energy, and I'm just so happy for him. And obviously some of those bigger plays occurred because of the type of defense they were playing, and we found a way. And I think that was part of their plan, was to take away the run game. We'll see what happens. As you guys are seeing week in and week out, teams are playing us differently, and that's our job as an offense to kind of figure out ways to get into that groove, and certainly I thought so we did today.
When you look at what Seth has done in these last 2 weeks in reference to what you guys are trying to accomplish this season, how would you evaluate how you want your quarterback to be playing at this point of the year?
He's playing very well, right? And he's playing at an extremely high level. He's being smart with the football. Are all the throws perfect? No. But he's playing efficient. And you guys have heard me talk about it all the time. Like, I'm okay with game managers when you throw 5 touchdowns. I mean, that's a heck of a game manager, and that's what you want. And he's continued to step up as a leader. He's doing the right things. And I've told you guys all along, we've got to continue to play our best football as the season goes on. We're finding improvements. Look, there's always going to be things to clean up every single week, right? Whether it's the punt team, I already know exactly where the issue occurred on our punt, and we got it fixed right then and there. And it was by one of our best players. Defensively, there's things that we know we can get cleaned up. We've got a tremendous staff. We've got tremendous players on that side of the ball, and they're as hungry as anybody to get the thing fixed, and they will. I've got great faith in it. And look, let's give credit. We know what South Florida is capable of, and that's, guys, I think we're seeing it week in, week out. And, I just got done saying on the radio, someone said something, the Tulane East Carolina game, it was 13-10. Well, we know the type of season East Carolina's having, and for a 3-point win, I'm sure Tulane fans will say you need to win by more. Well, that's great. They're all hard. They're all hard, and they always will be. But we found a way, and we're going to continue to improve. I promise you guys that.
Coach, Sutton Smith had 2 good kickoff returns today, and I'm just curious, what do you tell those kickoff returners throughout the week when factoring in whether to return it or to call a fair catch?
Yeah, it's a great question. Without giving too much away schematically, right? If you fair catch every kickoff return, you'll be like top 15 in the country in return yards where you start, and it's pretty unique. So we're always going to be cautious. Now, Sutton is obviously extremely explosive and dangerous with the ball in his hand, as we've seen him as an offensive weapon and what he can do as a kickoff returner. So we always want to make great decisions. If there's any uncertainty at all, let's go and call for the fair catch, right? Depends on the kick or the wind, all those things. And plus you get a feel for hang time, and that's one of those things that none of us ever get a sense of. You watch a TV copy, you watch even, we time everything, so we got an idea of what's this kicker's hang time like. So he gets a feel when he's back there, and it's like, if this thing's been over 4 seconds, let's be smart, because that ball's hanging up in the air. That means, we look at the opposing team's kickoff. Are they past the 30-yard line? If they are, the odds of ever getting it out to the 25 are slim to none. So let's be smart and go and make the fair catch. If they're still way back there and it's a lower kick, cool, let's be great with it. Now, you also talk about where that ball is kicked. If the ball is kicked what we call off stage, right, where it puts you in a bad angle. If they pin you down that corner, right, it's really hard to set up the leverage of blocks. And we see more, in college football, we see more holding calls on kickoff returns than any other special teams unit. So we don't want to put the guys that are blocking in bad situations. So he understands if it's a corner kick, let's be smart here. If it's kicked way too far, we have an off returner. You guys have seen that now. It's Kobe Drake that's doing that. So Sutton's making great decisions back there. You still continue to learn, because it's, no one ever asked me to return kicks growing up. I know it's hard to believe, so I don't have a great advice for him other than when this ball's kicked in there, and he's done a nice job handling it, and obviously the entire unit finding ways to do it.
What was just on Seth, when he came back in the game and then went out for the last couple of drives, was there something that happened there, or was it just?
Yeah, so he was on the field. Obviously, I go and talk to him. I said, how you doing? He goes, I'm staying in. I was like, dude, you got hurt. You've got to come off for a play. And he's a tough nut. And he said, I'm coming back in. I said, I'm not burning a timeout for you. And thank goodness I didn't, because Tevin Carter was able to go in there. I can just say it was part of the master plan. No. And Seth's tough. He never wants to come out of the game regardless. I mean, he could have an arm dangling. He'd say, put me back in. And he went back in, and it got to the point where he will never put himself in a situation where it harm the ability to win a football game. So if he thinks that it's going to be more of a hindrance than an attribute to be out on the field, he'll do it. Now, he'd do anything to go find a way to win the game. If he's able to, he will. He's tough. He'll stick. He'll continue to fight and all those things. But at that point, he was, I don't know if I'm going to have the ability to go out there and perform at a high enough level. I've got great faith in Tevin. And when you have your starting quarterback tell you, I've got great faith, and the guy that's behind me, that's huge. That talks about a relationship, a bond that those two have had, a great trust that Coach Ramsey has in them, and the entire offense. I mean, you guys, it was so fun to, obviously he's a local young man. Everybody loves Seth, but, man, the excitement, the energy from the team when Tevin was able to do that. And just going out there, it's great to have that type of confidence. And I think as a head coach, as a coordinator, all those things, you get confidence in the young men that prepare the right way, that do it the right way, that care. And so that when it happens, when their number's called, when a guy like Tevin Carter gets his name called, you say, okay, he's going to do the right things. He's going to make the right decision. He's going to put us in a great situation. Again, it goes back to the way they prepare, and I couldn't be more proud of it.
Spear and Rock had 301 combined receiving yards today. I felt like a lot of stuff early, especially was outside the numbers. Did you guys figure out early on that they didn't really have anyone that could cover those straight up?
Well, I will always challenge our wide receivers versus any DBs in the country. And we talk to our wide receivers all the time about winning the one-on-ones and continue to battle. And whether DB's holding, it doesn't matter if they're playing cover two and they're rolling coverage to you, or if they're playing man free. And just so please, like we talked about Demir's drops last week and finding a way. And obviously at the beginning of the game, bam, bam. I mean, man on fire right there with what Demir was able to do. And then Rock just continues to be steady. Nobody, even Rock had a drop today, and he'll be the first to say, that's not good enough, Coach. I'm going to get better. And Rock's approach has been so amazing. And you guys have had the opportunity to be around him. And Rock's a young man I got to know briefly because the recruiting process happened with the snap of fingers. But he's a guy that his maturity and the way he attacks the game every single week is allowing him to have a monster season. He loves his teammates, his growth, his mindset, his approach every single day. So you go out there and you're like, cool, let's keep throwing the ball to number 3. He's going to find a way to make plays. And we're going to continue to challenge him. He'll be the first to say, oh, man, tomorrow he'll be, okay, great. That's in the past. How do I get ready for Charlotte, and how do I be better? And that's what I love about so many of our guys on our team is they're bought in to do it. And Rock Taylor is certainly one of those guys that we've seen the growth of that young man day in and day out, literally. And sometimes it takes guys 3 years and you don't ever see them and they leave. Rock Taylor, we're just getting to see, man, not only as a football player, but as a young man. And I love him to death, and I'm so proud of his growth on and off the field and everything he does.
Hey, Coach, the defense has some great stops in the fourth quarter. What is it going to take to get you more consistent throughout the game, and just not the fourth quarter or the first quarter? And secondly, who had the honor of breaking a rock? I know you have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
So those 2 questions.
Well, Terry, first off, I'd like to, if you have that answer, how we can be more consistent on defense, we'll take it, because I'm sure there's a lot of people on social media, which I'm off of, thank goodness. But we've got to ball that up and find ways, because I just got done in the locker room 30 minutes ago saying, we show that we are capable of being one of the best defenses in college football. Like when we go and you see fourth down stops and guys making plays and guys in great coverage, and then we also show inconsistencies. And that's my job as a head coach, to find ways to be more consistent. So the great news is we got guys on defense that are so damn hungry to get better. They're going to watch this tape. So we'll find a way. I promise you. We've got a great defensive coaching staff. We've got great defensive players that are going to be, man, what we put on display, especially for 3 quarters, is not good enough, and we will get better. And I know they will. So we're going to find a way. And it always starts, guess what? It's going to start with tomorrow's practice and film study, and then Tuesday and how we respond. And the guys being hungrier, because nobody wants to succeed more than the 160 people I'm so blessed to work with on every single day, because they know we've all got to get better. I don't care if it's, Tevin Carter, Seth Hennigan, I mean, Demir, Rock, they all know, right? Chandler Martin, I got to be better. We all got to get better, and that's what's so fun, and it starts with me. I've got to be better. Tonight was not good enough by me, and I'll find a way to get better. And then the guy that got to break the rock, obviously a lot of great individual honors. You talked about Simeon Blair's pick. That was great coverage by Tyron Taylor, right? Talk about Demir's big game, right? You talk about Rock Taylor recovering the onside kick. Like, can't lose sight of that. They're hard. Recovering onside kicks, I can only imagine a ball being kicked at me, and I've got to go up and get it, and a bunch of dudes running at me. And it takes guts and courage, right, with Rock Taylor being able to go up and get that ball and come down with it. A lot of individual great effort. So Seth had 5 touchdowns, had a huge game. But to Seth's credit, when he stood up in front of the team, he gave a great speech, and he said, you know what? Let my boy Tevin Carter break that rock. And the whole team was so excited for Tevin, and certainly an honor that he deserves. I hate recognizing individuals, but like I've told you guys all, I mean, to see the smile on everybody's face, you could look up at the crowd and see everybody smiling with Tevin through that play. Great play by Rock to get down the sideline and do all that stuff. And probably nobody was happier than Tevin that he was able to stay in bounds and go. But it was just so fun to watch, and you could literally see the crowd just it's so excited. And man, it's fun. It's a fun group to be around, and plays like that and performances by individuals like that make it great, but we all going to continue to get better. And I want to get out there, I can say the whole team damn break the rock, because we all played well.
Coach, defensively, how tough is it to play against a team that plays with the pace like South Florida?
Third fastest tempo in college football. I'm still waiting for a team that just huddles up and maybe wants to give us traditional formations, and I don't know if we're going to see that. I mean, it's a gauntlet, right? You see what teams are doing week in and week out, and that's college football. But it is tough because, a lot of times as a coordinator, you want to be able to put your guys in the best situation. But sometimes when it's just dial a play by the offense, okay, hey, let's make a base call and let's go play ball. And we've got to get our feet in the ground. We've got to be great at our communication. We've got to get lined up fast. Those are some of our keys to victory. And go make plays on the ball. And at times we did, and then other times we saw explosive plays. It's very difficult, but every week presents its new challenges. I mean, playing triple option football was hard. Playing North Texas air raid was hard. It's UAB, 5, 6 different quarterbacks. However, it's all hard every week. playing defense in college ball is getting harder and harder and harder. But we'll find a way week in and week out to come up with the stops when they're most important. I'm going to be proud of the good things we did, but we know there's a lot to get fixed.
Could you believe your eyes when Tevin goes in first play and you see Rock streak down the sideline 85 yards?
Quietly to myself, I said, hand the ball off, hand the ball off, hand the ball off. Oh, good. Oh, Rock, stay in bounds. Rock, stay in bounds. Own the ball. And he could hear me in the back and said, own the ball. Tighter elbows. And then just looking out there and just seeing Tevin look up at the crowd, just so excited. And I was like, please don't go to replay. Because that's, every play. I want our sideline to be have celebration. I want the players to enjoy it. I want their staff to enjoy it. I want everybody to have energy. If anybody ever watches me on the sideline, they probably think I'm the most boring individual in the world. I am. Now, before the game, I'm about to headbutt through the garage wall. At halftime, I'm about to, and after the game. But during the game, okay, it's a completion. There he goes, touchdown. Whew, thank goodness. So it's, for me, sometimes it's more of a sigh of relief, but just so proud of the execution on that play, and he did exactly what the read called for, and obviously a tremendous play.
Coach, what do you think was the reason behind the offense's inability to capitalize on the turnovers? We saw 2 turnovers and then multiple turnovers on downs, even some coming in South Florida's territory, but the inability to even get 3 or obviously a punt for you guys turning it over on downs. What do you think was the main reason behind that?
Yeah, so I know we had some turnovers on down, especially in the fourth quarter. We got to find a way. I can't, off the top of my mind, right, especially in the fourth quarter, they knew we were going to run the football. They knew once Tevin was going to be in there, we were going to see some challenging looks. They were going to all-out pressure. And it was my responsibility 100% let's milk some of the clock. Let's use some of that stuff and be smart and take care of the football more than anything. Right? Let's get this clock rolling the right way. Yes, we could have probably kicked a field goal on that fourth. I can't say it off the top of my head. It was a 4th and 4 or something like that. But I believe it was the right decision to go for it, and I still stick by that. Now, like a lot of things, I'll have, just like the Monday morning quarterbacks, right? I'll have some more answers tomorrow for you. Anytime you put up 59 points, it's going to be hard-pressed for me to sit there and say we didn't capitalize on things. I would like to. Man, I wish we could have put up 70, but I'm not going to sit here and say there's certain things, yeah, we've got to find ways to go get the first downs and all those things, but it was also sometimes my decision, with especially the way some of the things were occurring defensively, to be more aggressive. And I talked to our defensive staff, and you guys, I think that was a question in the press conference this past Monday was, how's that communication work? And part of that is, hey, Coach Silverfield, go ahead and be more aggressive. We'll get confidence if you get the first down. If not, we'll put our defense back out there. And that's part of the communication with both sides of the ball, saying, okay, here we go. We're going to go for it. We're going to kick it. But ultimately, those are my decisions to have to make, and I live and die with them. But the good news is I believe I got the support of maybe not 120 guys, but maybe 118 are like, yeah, let's do it, whatever you got.
Off that, was that coming into the game, passing the ball more, or was that kind of the game plan? Did it seem like right away it was pass? We know how good Blake is.
Yeah, so we've got I told you guys every week we kind of go in like, okay, here's what we think we're getting, and we go through every look, and we know. So like I told you, I've gone against Coach Orlando. The last time I coached against him was 2016 Houston here, and I did watch that game. I watched what he did versus us because being 8 years here, the offense has been very similar, and so people are sitting there saying, okay, Silverfield's book hadn't changed much, and how can we continue to be creative? They brought a different variety of different pressures, and that's part of it. Like, had Tevin got a certain look on that deal, he would have handed the football off, right? Had the first play was actually an RPO, right? And so I think that's part of what we gave what they're taking. It obviously worked out in our favor. We always want to have a steady balance, but with that type of offensive production, we take what the defense gave us. And we'll continue to find ways, right? We've got great trust in our running backs, whether it's Blake Watson, Sutton Smith, Brandon Thomas, to continue to go out there and do it at a high level.